Hello, everyone. The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip.
Like, this is a film that's not completely dedicated to what it wants to do. It wants to pass judgment on uppity white woke folks and make those observations. And it wants to comment on the gender divisions between men and women when it comes to reproductive rights. But it also doesn't want to actually, like, it's pulling punches all over the place. It doesn't actually want to be really mean and critical. Like,
which is surprising given who these writers are.
I don't know. I feel like this is them saying, oh, it's our first big swing. Let's do the political commentary, but let's not overdo it on the horror.
Well, I guess I only say that because I'm thinking, well, their comedy did not pull punches on Broad City.
Right. Yeah. And that, I think, is the difference for me, is that this feels defanged compared to Broad City, where they were really willing to go there.
Yes, and, you know, maybe there's something to be said for that. And you're probably right. They're like, oh, okay, well, it's new territory for us, so let's not, maybe not go too hard. Let's not alienate people. But I'm like, no. That honestly, if you're making a horror film, that should be your goal, to alienate people.
Well, it's weird, too, because, like, we're talking really about Alana Glazer a lot, but as you mentioned off the top, this is co-written by John Lee, but he's behind some really critically acclaimed biting, satirical comedy shows. Like Wonder Chosen is deeply offensive, and I'm not seeing that same kind of bite here. So I am surprised.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, again, like, I'm still at a 3.5 for this. I do agree with you. I think that the satire isn't biting enough. I think it does end kind of blehly.
Meh.
I am surprised it doesn't go for it, for lack of a better term. But I don't know. Like, I still was kind of captivated by this. And it very much may have been the edibles that I had eaten. But I was captivated by this movie. Like, I don't know. I thought it was very visually interesting.
Yeah, no, and I will agree with that. I think it is shot well. I think it's mostly acted well. For me, I feel like I say this all the time. It's the script that's dropping this.
Yeah.
It's dropping the ball on this. And particularly in the last act for me, it just, I don't know, it really kind of ends with a whimper. I think it thinks that these final scenes, like where she's where she's going after Dawn, like she doesn't even really have a confrontation with Adrian. I really just think it could have gone bigger and better. And the problem is when you end a movie, that's what we're often left with. Like, that's the thing that stays in our mind. So all the goodwill that I had from the first half of the film kind of goes up in smoke.
I think, and only because, like, again, how we end the film, I think maybe I'm making excuses for it, is that it's just supposed to be like, oh, well, this is a small internal story for Lucy. So that's why we're not giving you these bigger moments.
Right.
I think maybe that was the idea or the intent. I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't really work.
No, particularly because the whole first half of the film is really like writ large about women's struggles in a man's world. And you're just like, oh, and now you're telling a personal story with no consequences? Okay, got it.
I did chuckle at Adrian's, well, what am I supposed to do? But again, it's like, it's a joke.
Yeah, either you need to ditch that and just make it dark and go for it, or you needed to have that stronger balance between the comedy and the horror.
I agree. I mean, I agree with you. I still do like this movie quite a bit. But, you know, I mean, I see all your concerns and I am validating them for you.
I just hate that I'm so down the middle on this. Like, it's just too obvious for me. And I don't regret watching it at all. As I said off the top, I will definitely tell people, if you're interested, for sure, check it out. I would love to hear from our female listeners in particular. I would love to know if this resonates with women who have either gone through childbirth or have had to have, like, uncomfortable experiences with doctors around their private parts because they are women and they're being treated by men.
That's where I'm thinking that those little observations are going to, like, really resonate with those women. And for me, I admired them. But yeah, I think maybe it's a case of, like, the whole is not as great as the sum of its parts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a good descriptor for this movie.
Sure. Yeah.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.